You have just clicked on this thumbnail and you're wondering, what the heck am I talking about? Mercury Capri is not like the Mustang II. Well, to explain it a little bit further, the Mercury Capri was inspired by the Mustang. The Mercury/Ford Capri is the UK's answer to the Ford Mustang. Now, if you're in the UK, it was called the Ford Capri. In the States, we call it the Mercury Capri. No matter how you spin it, this car here was sex on wheels. The Ford Capri is a fastback coupe built by the Ford Motor Company between 1968 and 1986, designed by the American Philip T. Clark, who was also involved in the design of the Ford Mustang. It uses mechanical components from the Mk2 Ford Cortina, and it intended as an European equivalent of the Ford Mustang. The Capri went into be a highly successful car for Ford, selling nearly 1.9 million units in its lifetime. In 1950 to 1959, there already had been a Capri at Ford's American Noble brand Lincoln. In the early development stages of the Ford Capri, it was called the Ford Colt, but they had trademark issues with Mitsubishi, so they could not use that name. Ford wanted the Capri to be affordable for a broad spectrum of potential buyers. To help achieve that, it was available with many different engine options that didn't cost a fortune. The Capri's whole existence was still based around the Mustang.
Enthusiast people want to have a sports car or something nice to drive around instead of being, let's say, a typical family car. I think that we wanted, obviously in Europe, to have something like the Mustang. I mean, that was, everybody, I remember at my age at the time, was dreaming from a Mustang. We were very, let's say, inspired by the design of the Mustang when we did the Capri.
The 1969 Capri was one of the first collaborations between Ford's newly merged British and German operations. The two groups did not always see eye to eye, but they did agree on applying much of the same formula for their new coupe as the Mustangs. The Capri was a hit. In January 1969, it was unveiled at the Brussels International Auto Show in between London and Cologne. The Capri became an instant hit across Europe. Many internet literature stated that the Ford Capri was based off of the Mk2 Ford Cortina. I feel that the Mk3 Ford Cortina was based off the Ford Capri. Now, you have a 1969 Ford Falcon, which that same year they made a 1969 Ford Mustang. When you flip from video to video, you can see that the Ford Falcon and the Ford Mustang of the same year is basically the same car. Now, across the pond in the UK, they masked the car pretty well. They took the Ford Cortina and flipped it. Now, the Ford Capri first gen kind of looks like the Ford Cortina a little bit, but about time it got to the second generation and the third, there was no remnants of the Ford Cortina in no kind of way. You take the average bloke, put him in one of these Capris, turn him into a boy racer within minutes, mate. Driving down the road, the race history with this car was magnificent. This would help sell this car to the average guy, and everybody was out there trying to race and do all types of nonsense and shenanigans out there. This is what made the car unique in the UK. Now, Lincoln Mercury started marketing for the Mercury Capri in April 1970. Priced at $2,300 at the time of its launch, the Capri was marketed as a economical sport coupe with no upscale trim levels, unlike the European versions. With the European Ford Capri, they came with 13 engine options in the first generation. Now, in the second generation, it came with 7, and in the third, it came with 7. Now, the American version, the Mercury Capri, only came with 2 engine options only. Either you had a 4-cylinder Pinto motor or a V6 Cologne engine. Then later they substitute the Pinto motor for a Lima motor. Now let's fast forward to 1973, where the big Mustang sold 135,000 units that year. Now, the Mercury Capri sold 113,000 units that year. So that got Ford thinking, and Ford was thinking a long time ago with the success of the Ford Pinto and the Ford Maverick. They were like, that Ford Pinto got us jammed up with lawsuits. Man, we need to make another itty-bitty cheap car for the masses to buy, like tomorrow. Before I take it to 1974 to piss all you Mustang guys off again, Let me remind you that the Capri was inspired by the 1964 and a half Mustang. Beautiful car. The Capri came and they made a beautiful version of the car. Now, the brilliant Americans of said year said, you know what, we're going to make the Mustang again and we're going to base it off the Capri. Nobody would really notice. And we really did not notice. We talked about the Pinto, we talked about the Maverick, we talked about all of these things, but we never looked at the Mercury Capri because the Mercury Capri was just out of our minds. Some other slick stuff that Ford did was the Capri skipped the model year in 1975. With the Mercury deal and selling leftover 74 Comets and Mercury Capris, Lincoln was like, you know what, we're going to pair them up in a commercial and we're going to sell these things no matter what you try to do to us. And they had to make their sales also. No matter what they tried to do, they couldn't stop the sales of that Mustang II. For 1974, 386,000 units were sold. But now in 1975, there was no Mercury Capri, as I mentioned, but there was a Mustang II, and it sold 188,500 units. In 76, it sold 187,000. In 77, it sold another 153,000. Then in 1978, it skyrocketed back up to 192,500. And those are strong numbers. And what else helped sell this car? Camel 2 on Charlie's Angels and the woman demographic that actually went out and bought this car. That's what it was. See, when you watch Charlie's Angels, one girl had a Pinto, one girl had a Mustang II Coupe, Farrah had the goddamn Cobra. Then you go to your Lionel, Kitty City, your KB, your Toys R Us, your Radio Shack, wherever you get your toys from, and you can get the daggone toy version of the Mustang II. Camel toe not included. The Mustang II is nothing but a daggone Ford Capri, Mercury Capri. Just look at the car. No matter how you spin it, it looks just like the Mercury Capri. They ain't fooling me with this Mustang II. It's nothing but a Mercury Capri. But now if you check out the dimensions on this Mustang II and put them side by side next to the Mercury Capri, Ford Capri, they are very similar. So for 1976, Ford decided to throw Mercury a bone since they stole your style and we didn't allow you to build a car in 1975. For 76, we call it a Mercury Capri 2 to help assist your sales because we are making so much money right about now. And it did not help Capri at all because everybody was looking at that Mustang II, which I really don't understand. So the guys who had Mustang IIs back in the days, please let me know, why didn't you buy the Mercury Capri? Tell me in your own words, why didn't you buy the car? The car was superior than the Mustang II. Come on, let's call it. We all know in this video right here, this is not no showroom Capri by no means. This is a V6 Cosworth 3.4, 450 horsepower to the wheels. Totally different, but they didn't even make a Mustang II version. Why did they make a Mustang II version? Because no seasoned driver would be caught dead in a Mustang II trying to road race on some goddamn track. They'll rather road race a Pinto before that happens. Now for 1979, the Ford Mustang had taken another turn for the better. Thank goodness. They made the Fox body Mustang the 4i. I always loved the 4i. That's how I like it. And then Capri came out with their version. They say, hey, look, man, you owe us for that Mustang II crap you did, so give us something. And they gave him a better looking body. I think it's a better looking body than the Mustang, to be honest. And then after that, the Mercury Capri became front wheel drive. This shit was a desperate move by Ford. They asked their homeboy Mazda, who they partner up with and bought pieces of, and said, look, man, we need a import killer to put on the side. We already know that you have a Mazda Miata that's doing quite well. Can you give us an MR2 looking thing with a convertible?
On the road to the 80s, a lot of sports cars disappeared. Now, Toyota introduces MR2, a new breed of affordable two-seater, mid-engined for leading-edge handling.
And this is what they gave him. This ain't nothing but a Mazda 323 chassis. Horrible. My goodness, man. I mean, like, they're so late to the party and they start dancing when everybody's leaving. It's like, God dang, man. But before I go, I wanted to show you this one clip of how the Capri is really, really cool. Many people out there did Eleanor reboots of this Mustang here, right? But the Ford Capri, it looks pretty daggone cool. I think it does. Maybe you guys leave me a comment below and say, hey, yo, man, that was pretty cool. We're not going to sit there and say it's a dead ringer for the Eleanor, but it's a good rendition of the Eleanor Mustang, man. So, man, thank you guys for watching this episode of Build Something TV, man. Hope you guys were enlightened in some kind of way. I was on a rant. That's what this was all about, man. Just in my head while I'm up in here, in my house, waiting for car park. So, man, right now I'm going to leave you guys with a little bit of Ford Capri racing. And we'll see you guys on the next video, man. And stay safe and God bless you and yours. Later.
A surprise move.
And David Clark's watching all that from the Fabergé Capri, and it's 4 for this position. And we're going to see another Camaro fall prey to John Young, but look at that. Garrett puts his foot down, he belts back up alongside the Belga car. Timo had got past him. This is fantastic. On the grass there.
What was he doing? He's drifted a bit wide. Now it's John Young's turn to go on the grass.
Well, he got squeezed, didn't he? A big squeeze. Back down the inside though, the Capri can outbrake the Camaro.